Alright, so up for investigation next is this Tempest machine by Atari. It's a wonderful looking cabaret model of it, but for some reason this has got a colour monitor in it, but the game is only playing in black and white. Now the loom is correctly set up and everything because we have had partially working boards on it before. We've changed nothing on the loom. It's definitely something to do with the PCB. So we're going to take a look inside. We are about 90% certain what the issue is. It's down to one of three little components. We had a debugging session with our friends over at RetroClinic via Skype video chat a few weeks ago, and we agreed it was either going to be one of three little chips, which is either going to be an SRAM or a one of the two logic chips, an LS32 and LS157. So I'm going to pull the board out in a minute. I've just been testing the machine because I've been having a bit of a shuffle around in here doing some other repair work. So I just thought I'd sort of show you the game in black and white mode. And then I'm going to pull the board out and I'm going to have a look at the location where this possibly faulty RAM chip is, this SRAM chip, which apparently controls the colour. My theory is that all the pins are outputting just single colour, because that's all you can see. There's no shading or anything like that. So if that's the case, then I should be able to just swap out the three chips and everything should come back to colour, and if it's not, then I'll have to ask nicely if I can send the board back and get it further investigated. Okay, so let's pull the board and see what's doing. So there are three chips potentially causing this problem apparently. There is an LS32, an LS157 and this one that we're pointing at right now, which is an SRAM chip, which is a 74S289, which I've got a replacement that I can just piggyback on now. That's all I'm doing for just a minute. I'm going to piggyback it on and then stick the board back onto the balance the back board on the back of the cab with some connectors on it and just see if it powers up and makes a difference. Apparently what I should see is some kind of colour bleed going on, which means the two chips are fighting it out with each other, and if that's the case, then hopefully that should be the fix. All I need to do is change. I'm going to change out all three chips anyway, if that's the cause of it, and hopefully that'll be the solution. I'm going to change them all anyway because they're all, you know, there's potential for them all being bad. I might even piggyback the other two if this doesn't work. So let's try that and see what happens. Well, what do you know? We seem to have some colour back into the game. So that's just with the one chip piggybacked. The colours actually are in a slightly weird order than what they should be. So I'm certain that's supposed to be more of a yellow colour. I think they're all fighting it out with each other. Now, if that's the case, yeah. See, the ship should be yellow at this point. So I think they're all just basically fighting it out with each other. If that's the case, then all good. So what I'm going to do is change out the chip. I'm going to try piggybacking the other two chips anyway, the LS32 and the LS157, and just see if it makes any difference whatsoever to it before we start changing anything out. I'm just curious. That's an investigation for curiosity more than anything else. So let's try that and see where we get. All right, so we're getting closer, definitely. So we've got the ship now moving around in white, and the playfield's looking... they're definitely all fighting it out with one another, that's an absolute. So the ship should be actually yellow, and I think the text around should be slightly different coloured than that. And I can't remember, I'd have to pull the version of it in MAME and have a look. But we're certainly looking a heck of a lot better than what we should do. So... maybe I can grab some screenshots and just put them sort of side by side on the screen and sort of for comparisons and things. Anyway, so that's a heck of a lot better than it was. Yeah, I think that the chips are definitely fighting it because you can see the Atari symbol changing here. So I'm going to have a go and I'm going to now change out the chips. I've got some sockets for them as well, and I'll pop the sockets, desocket the old, take the old ones off the board. Put some sockets in and solder the new, pop the new chips in, and hopefully that should fix the problem completely. That's my hope anyway. All right, anyway, so let's go ahead and change the sockets over and let's get that done now. What I wanted to just show you real quick was I've taken out the SRAM chip. Now this has taken me a little bit of time to get this out. What I wanted to point out to any of the new players trying to attempt IC removal, these obviously are socketed, soldered straight to the board like the ones adjacent to them. Now, over 30 odd years of them being sat there, the solder gets kind of quite brutally set in its ways. And what I wanted to point out was that underneath these chips there are traces. So when you've actually removed the solder and got the hole sort of looking clear through the board and everything so that you can see up to the light, don't start jamming screwdrivers underneath there, because it's so easy to catch that first trace there. And get in. Yep. Or the last one or something like that, or go straight across a lot of them, and then you'll be there forever repairing traces with little bits of Kynar wire and all sorts of weird stuff to try and get the thing to work again. So just be really careful when you do it. Anyway, so that's the SRAM, the 74S289, out of the board now. What I'm going to do is stick a socket in there, turn pin of course, so it gets a nice good grip on it, and then stick the new chip in it, and then I'll move on to the LS32 and 157. The 157, which I have written, literally just written down on the back of an envelope here, is at R7, and the 157 is at P8, and the 32 is at R7. So going across slightly, see if I can find this first. So that's the SRAM we've just pulled. That's at 9, P9. P8 is that one. That should be the 157. Oh, sorry, that's P. What the heck is that one? Yeah, that's P8. That's the 157. Right. And then the other one we need to do is R7. So 7's here, and I think that's the R7. R7 is that one there, and that one actually says on it 74LS. Have I got the right? So that's P7. I do apologise, because on the P row there. So P R, that should be the R1. 74LS32. Yep, R7. Yeah, it's amazing what zoom on a camera can get you. So I'm going to replace that one, and that one, and that one. Okay, so we're going to get on now and stick a socket in. Right then, so the three ICs in question have been resocketed, and I've populated them now with the appropriate chips. So that's the SRAM chip in there on its socket. That's the 74157, and then that's the LS32 chip there. So the only other thing I want to do whilst I've reassembled the bench, I've put the math box board on, which is underneath here, like so. I put all that back together and everything, and reconnected these edge connectors that I hate that Atari made. So anyway, the only other thing I wanted to do with this is set it to free play, which I've now done on the dip switches, which are over here. Now, just in case anybody else gets a Tempest board, you'll find that there are 3 sets of dip switches located here, here, and here. And this is the analog vector board that it talks about. And there's also a set under there on the math box. Okay? Now, so let me tell you about this. So, these set here, which are L12, control the number of lives per game, and the bonus the bonus and what language the game's in, and also whether and that's about it really. And then that one there controls the coinage, and that one isn't directly listed. And sorry, let me find it. Oh yeah, that one. So that one isn't directly listed, but that's actually to do with coin metering. So that's just a weird one to sort of know about, but it's there. But don't be fooled. The one for difficulty setting is actually on the Mathbox PCB underneath here, like so. And I've got that set now to sort of an easy game. I'm not going to make it too hard. I can always come back and change it later. And that's about it. So I suppose moment of truth time. Let's go stick it against the cab and see what happens. Alright. Well, there we have it. One full colour working Tempest PCB. So, we've got the colours all full colour now. And one thing I did notice when I plugged this back in was that the red and the green were the wrong way around. Now, this is a fault that we'd spotted a little while back, because this monitor we borrowed for the Star Wars cab, if anybody followed on the Facebook page. And what we'd found was that the red and the green pins on the back of the monitor had been transposed, so yellow will display regardless because that's red and green together. Blue was in the right place, but at the top of the screen here, where it says score and game over and press start and things like that, those were actually the wrong way around. So what I've done is I've swapped the 2 pins around on the back of the socket and made them into the correct order for a Wells Gardner 6100 monitor, Wells Gardner K406100. Anyway, so there we have it. We've got a working game. I think there's probably a tiny little bit of adjustment needs doing on some of the bipolar settings and some of the height and width and things, but I'm just going to leave it to run as is for now. Everything looks great to me as is. There's a couple of places, and I think this is definitely setting related, where it looks like the vectors kind of they don't break up, but they definitely kind of split apart. Anyway, I'm going to do a completely... Normally, with these tech videos I've been doing a gameplay segment at the end. I'm actually going to do a completely separate video on each one of the machines that I do from now on. And it seems to work better that way, because then I get to spend actually more time talking about the game, and then it's split into 2. So for reference, you've got the what the problem was and how to fix it, and then you've got the actual gameplay video. So there's a nice wide shot of the back of the arcade at the moment. Space Invaders is causing me some trouble right now. So I don't know which sequence you're going to have seen it and whether I'm going to have fixed it before you get to see this or not. But anyway, everything's looking great. So that's another game fixed. So anyway, thanks for watching. Do hit the subscribe button. Do follow us on Facebook. All the details are in the description below the video, whether you're watching on a mobile device or on your PC or Mac. All the buttons are all pretty much the same. And do give the video a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments section at the side, and we'll reply as soon as we can. Alright, anyway, till the next video. See you soon.